right, hello. Welcome to Pet Prana. My name is Alex Bloom, and I am a pet parent, a pet enthusiast, and I have a lot of pet peeves. And I am with the princess of Pet Prana, the one and only Denise Mange. Denise, hello, how are you?
Hello, Alex. I like that. I'm going to use that on my business cards.
Pet Prana princess?
Love it.
That's good. Alliteration, you can never go wrong.
I was going to say, is it alliteration or consonants? I never know.
Well,
consonants would be like cacophony.
yeah, something like that. Or, just something with consonants, like everything that's not a vowel. Is that what you mean?
I
don't know.
So.
Well, luckily, the grammar podcast is next. This is the Pet Prana podcast. So, Denise, before we get started here, what exactly do you mean by Pet Prana?
I created the company Pet Prana, and it's really because in working with humans and their animal companions, of course, we want to focus on traditional, obedience training techniques and helping them make better decisions. But we also want to look at the prana of it all. We want to look at the energetic connection that we share with our animal companions because they pick up on our energy, but we also learn so many lessons from them. So it's really about that connection that we share with them, of course, in the 3D world with traditional training, but also energetically.
Let's talk a little bit today about how, when there's a change in routine, a change in season, changes, it's hard enough for humans to deal with changes.
It is.
But how do we help our beloved pets deal with them when they don't really understand necessarily what's going on?
Yeah, and that's where communication is key, right? So from a traditional training standpoint, we want to help build their confidence. So we want to really work on those basic obedience commands that they know, maybe teach them some new ones, practice some games, anything to help give them that mental stimulation, and also just work with them and bond with them and spend time with them. That really helps them get through any changes, whether it's, everyone was home for the summer, now people are back to school, or maybe you have a new person visiting and spending the weekend at the house. Those things kind of rock their world because the home is all they know.
Yeah, you bring up a good point because, there's summer break, there's Christmas break, winter break for all of, just I'm not trying to be religious. But anyway, the family's all together. And then back to school, back to work, and our pets are kind of home alone.
Yeah, and it can feel like a sudden transition for them. So what we want to do is, if we are in a back to school situation or we know someone's coming to visit or maybe we're going to start working at an office versus working from home, a few weeks before, start adding new things into their routine. Don't wait until the shift and change is upon them. So like the week before, send them to doggy daycare if they enjoy the social aspect of it. Even if it's just one day a week, it will help just translate as an aspect of the old routine into the new one. Or, maybe hire a dog walker. Even if you're home and you're able to walk your dog, have them come just to take your dog on an adventure. And that's another thing that can kind of carry through. And then, of course, energetically, we want to explain to them, listen, little one, changes are afoot. They're all positive. They're all fun. We're all moving forward. And this is how we're going to work through the transition.
Like literally with English words.
Literally. And even if, I have a lot of pet parents who are like, oh, come on, they don't understand English. Regardless, they understand the vibration and energy behind the message.
Mm-hmm. Well, some dogs understand Spanish. You mentioned about having guests in the house. Look, dogs, cats, like all of us, some people we like, some people we don't like. What do you do if your pet just happens not to really like the person a guest once in a while, or maybe it's a new girlfriend, new boyfriend, and your dog doesn't like them? What do you do?
So not all dogs are social butterflies. So that's where we can tuck them away safely in a room or, send them to daycare if we know the visitor's coming and it's going to be a loud gathering, maybe a Super Bowl party or something like that. And of course, give them something to chew on. Bully sticks are fantastic because chewing relieves stress and anxiety. And ultimately, if they are someone who's going to be in your life a lot, we can create positive associations with them. Have them give the dog a treat every time they come in. Make sure that they allow the dog to approach them on their own time, right? Because we don't want to bombard our dog with a new guest or put them in a situation where they have to give a hug to someone. We don't do that to our kids anymore. Why do that to our dogs?
Yes. Now, I know there's a big thing, like a lot of people say, if my dog doesn't like you, then that's a sign, or I can tell what kind of a person this so-and-so is by how my dog reacts. Is that true or not?
I mean, I find that a little passive aggressive. I think that's a way of the human saying, I don't like you, but I don't want to say it. So I'm going to, put the onus on my dog. And I do think that our dogs pick up on our energy. So if we're letting someone into the home and we're uncomfortable or we're not really into them, odds are our dogs are going to pick up on that. You might say, listen, we have a new friend coming in. But if inside the story in your mind is saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe this person's coming over, I really can't stand them, your dog's going to pick up on that energetic message because energy never lies.
Well, now we know why my dog doesn't like anybody. Mystery solved. Okay, now there's also bigger transitions. Moving is definitely one. We have our pets, but life happens, and sometimes we need to move. This is something that I know can be traumatic for pets because it's a big deal for people. I believe scientists say that moving is one of the most stressful activities.
It's moving, divorce, and death, right?
Yes, I didn't want to bring those two up because they're a downer. But sure, divorce, death, moving. Yeah, transitions.
Have you ever moved?
I have. Actually, I love moving. I'm an anomaly. I also love divorce, and I'm a huge fan of death. But what I did and what I do for moving with my dog is if I know where I'm going to go, I'll go in before anything is moved and set up, take a couple of her beds, maybe a couple of new things that I think she's going to really like, and treats kind of everywhere, just in every room, tucked under the bed so there's stuff to find.
I love that. No, I think that's absolutely the advice I give my pet parents. So that is right on target. And then, the one thing that I do recommend is when you are introducing them to the new space and letting them explore, have them on leash because we don't want them, in the beginning to feel like overwhelmed by all the new space. So kind of walk them through on leash, let them sniff around, pick up some treats along the way, and then you can let them off leash, assuming it's safe and enclosed. The other thing you can also do during that transition period is bring things that smell of the new apartment to your old apartment. So if there's, rocks or leaves or, anything that's of that location, bring it back to their familiar spot so they can start getting used to it.
Denise, that is a brilliant idea. I did not think of that. And that's why you're the princess of pet Prana right there. I mean,
I earned the crown.
Yeah, you certainly did.
So we have on the line Amy Martin of Conscious Companion. She is amazing. She's an animal behavior consultant and an intuitive, and she has worked with every species from dogs to cats to birds to snakes. She actually used to work at a zoo, and I love her. She's super inspirational. She's actually one of the people I go to when I'm stumped or I need advice or just for inspiration. So Amy, you move very often. Your husband's in the military, and thank you for his service, but you have a whole family with a lot of furry little companions. So we thought, as we were talking about transitions and moving, that you would be the perfect person to give us some tips.
Oh, yeah. That's regular life for us, is moving on a regular basis. We just finished, we call it a PCSing in the military. It's a permanent change of station. We just moved from California all the way across the entire United States, and we're now in Rhode Island.
Wow.
Yeah, so our animals are now technically also PCSing pros, just like they're people.
So what animals do you have?
2 cats, 2 males, and we have 1 female dog.
Awesome.
Yeah, one is Knox, Zydeco. They're all rescued from New Orleans, both the cats. Knox is, how old is Buddy? He's 8. He's an orange tabby. He's the sweetest little creature. And then we have a 19-year-old geriatric melanistic Siamese. His name is Mr. Bo. He's coming up. I'm writing a book about him. And then Hocus Pocus is another rescue. She's from North Carolina. She's a black-mouthed cur, and she's the baby of the group. She's 6.
Oh, I love the names that you came up with. And so I know that your most recent move was only a couple months ago. Tell us, what did you do to prepare the animals for the move?
One, I get my energy in check. So I very big about self-awareness. I think it's one of the most empowering tools that we can do as pet parents, to know where is my stress level and or acceptance or non-acceptance of the situation. I've learned over the years that I need to figure out how I actually feel about a situation. If there's any kind of subconscious fears, if I'm projecting those horrible possible scenarios, everything that could go wrong, am I doing that, or am I actually really going into a space of security and gratitude? Because our animals are so in tune with us. If they can feel my fear building up from the move, they're going to be like, holy crap, what's happening? Mom's freaking out. I should probably be freaking out.
We really have to manage our energy because our animal companions pick up on it like sponges.
Especially if they're particularly furry.
Right?
So what's the next thing you do? When the boxes come, the movers come, how do you handle that with animal companions?
We counter condition them to everything that is a perceived threat, right? And so because an animal is, everybody's an individual, and every species responds to threats differently, we work with the individual with where they are. What is their past history? Have they had negative experiences with a moving company or a box? We want to desensitize them. So everything is about fun and play and calm. So it's a really nice balance of letting them know, like, what is this thing? We should go investigate it. But always giving them a choice, because choices are empowering. Mm-hmm. We always want to make sure that they're choosing to participate or not participate. There's never any forced, because that creates more fear. So anything you can think of prior to the move, we're desensitizing to that. And the way we do that is with food or play.
And then how about once you're on the road? Because I know you took a really fun cross-country road trip with everyone.
Yeah, do you guys play road games like I Spy?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, everybody has their own little prescribed carrier. I do not recommend just kind of a free-floating experience, because the zoologist in me is always about secondary enclosures. Every time you have a rest stop, is somebody contained? Is everybody locked in? So safety is a priority. It's very important that if animal companions have any kind of nausea, anxiety, everything from a little fear to panic attacks, we need to work with a qualified veterinary behaviorist that can give very mild sedatives to these animals. Very important that we look at the holistic side, but we also need to recognize that pharmaceuticals that are very mild are a gift to these very sensitive beings. We're not doping them up into zombies. They are a tool, and I cannot stress that enough.
Right. And it's not the magic bullet. There isn't a pill that will make it all go away. Tell us, what is the first thing you do when you pull up to your new home? You've made it safely through that cross-country drive. You pull up to the new home. Then what?
Oh, gosh, that's a completely different, it's a whole other world, whole new environment. So, one thing that I wanted to mention earlier is everything that you mentioned, all their special things, their bedding, their scratching posts, their favorite, whatever it is, whatever that animal values as something safe, like Linus's blankie. You are bringing all of those with you in the car, and you are schlepping them into the hotel with you. My husband was incredibly accommodating for allowing that to happen, because what you're doing is you're carrying all those valuable scents because it's familiar, it's safe. And so you're bringing all of those things with you into these new environments that are highly stressful. Think about it. If you're at a pet hotel, how many other animals have been in that room prior to your animals arriving? That's going to make everything so much more stressful for them, especially for these animals who have, a minimum of 40,000 more senses in their nose than we do.
Yeah, you don't want to use a black light.
Right. So you take all of these things, the familiar things, the things that they consider safety, and you bring them into the home. And what we do is we set those up prior to the movers coming in. And everybody has their own safe space. Everybody gets to choose what their own safe space is. So I like creating little nooks for everybody in their own little rooms, whatever they chose. And then you set up an environment that prepares them, like, okay, I know that scratching post. Okay, I know that bed. Oh, and my Chewy. Chewy relieves frustration. We have chews the entire time. Right? So all of these things that are to reduce stress and help them to remain safe, you're doing that prior to the move, during the move, and after the move.
Amy, I know that we talked about you working at a zoo, which is one of my favorite things about you because you have such amazing knowledge about so many different animals. So we wanted to invite you to be part of a special segment that we love.
Yes, this is a segment called What Breed Would They Be? This is What Breed Would They Be? Other Animal Edition. What breed would they be? So I name an animal, and then we all decide what breed of dog we think that animal would be. So, what breed would they be? Animal Edition with pet behaviorist and animal expert Amy Martin, and of course our very own Denise Mange, Princess of Pet Prana. What breed would they be? Crocodile.
Amy, I'm going to let you do the honors and kick us off.
So crocodile, I hate using this, but the first thing that came to mind, because I used to work with crocs, and we used to teach them to station and to be polite during meals. Crocs have a very bad reputation of being really aggressive. So do pit bulls. They are not. They're both brilliant, but their chomping power is incredible. So when I think about the jaws of a croc, I actually think about the jaws of a pit bull, because I've had pit bulls my whole life. So not because of temperament, but because of brilliance, because of the ability to be trained, and because of the misconceptions of both animals.
I love that.
Okay, Denise, crocodile.
All right, so it's not going to sound nearly as eloquent. I should have gone first. I'm going with corgi for the short legs.
Oh,
I like that.
that is a good one. All right, so for me, crocodile, what breed would they be? I'm gonna do a little misdirect and say beagle. And beagles to me are very youthful. They're always kind of don't really grow up. Peter Pan,
Oh, okay.
crocodile.
Ah, we had to walk with you along that journey to get there, but we got there.
Well, to be perfectly honest, Pitbull was going to be my answer, but Amy stole it. So, you gotta,
I was like, beagle, right, crocodile. Oh, okay.
All right. Well, next up, what breed would they be? Penguin.
All right, I'm starting on this one. I'm not going after Amy. Penguin, just because of the colors. I was going to go fancy because of the tuxedo, but I went strictly colors, Dalmatian.
All right. There you go. Good. And penguins like fires. Mine for penguin is going to be Portuguese water dog.
Oh, good.
Still got the black and white because a lot of them have that like little white chest.
Yeah.
They like water.
And fancy, right? The White House.
Yeah, exactly.
Obama's dog was a Portuguese
water dog. Okay, Amy, what breed would they be? Penguin.
Labrador, easy. Water-loving, goofy, playful, work together in large groups, and could just live in the water their entire life. Land, it's optional.
I love that.
Okay. What breed would they be? Other animal edition, tiger. I'm going to go first and say Rottweiler.
Ooh.
I feel like they are somewhat misunderstood, like tigers. I don't know why I feel tigers are... Well, I do know why I feel tigers are misunderstood, because most people think they live in Africa. I find that very annoying. Tigers don't live in Africa. Lions live in Africa. That's misunderstood. Just like Rottweilers, people misunderstand them. They think they're mean. They think they're Dobermans, maybe. But also the coloring, the toughness, the kind of elegance in toughness.
I like it. Amy, we're passing the baton to you.
I guess maybe a pointer, because pointers are so good at being quiet when they're hunting. They're focused. They've got that little stealth thing. They can actually go in between multiple types of habitat, from the forest canopy into rainforest and the water. So pointer, that's what comes to mind.
Love it.
Good.
I'm going with Akitas.
Okay, and why is that?
They're very regal.
They are regal.
Right. And I just feel the way that they prance and walk. I don't know. There's something very...
Aren't Akitas all white?
Not all, Bloom.
No, not always. They're not all white. I don't know where you're getting your facts.
I know.
No, that
Wikipedia
wasn't a
over
fact.
here. Mr. Wikipedia.
Okay, Amy, are there any Akitas who are orange and black striped?
Not black stripe, but
Negative.
orange.
Are there?
That's a negative.
Okay,
Are
didn't
there
know.
orange Akitas, Amy?
No.
Yes or no? Oh,
there's
man.
no
Okay,
orange
let me
I've
Akitas.
never
change
seen an
my
orange
answer.
Akita. A black one I've seen, I think.
Let
Black
me
and white.
change my answer.
Yeah, that's not a good Akita. I don't accept that as an answer. I'm sorry.
I like the regalness. That was accurate. So they
Yeah,
stand
all right.
tall. They
All
own
right.
their power. Ooh, there you go, Denise. See, that's where you were going. They own their power.
That's good.
They
now,
own their power.
redemption.
Tigers are Akitas.
Well, That just about does it, Amy. Unless you have any, would you like to make a plug for anything that you?
Actually, I would like to. If anybody wants to learn more about Amy, she is an amazing resource. She's who I go to when I'm stumped or I need inspiration. So definitely check out her amazing blog, Conscious Companion, and she has also a beautiful, inspirational social media page called The Path of an Empath. And it's great for a lot of pet parents because a lot of us are very open and sensitive and loving. And she provides inspiration and talks about, all different aspects of pet guardianship.
Well, thank you, Denise. I really appreciate that. It's very kind of you, very generous. I just want to mention that with the ascension path that we're all on, we're really being asked to step it up energetically. We're really being asked to really go into self-awareness. And our animal companions are with us on this journey, and they're holding that space for us as where all these energies that we're getting, they're more and more intense. We're being triggered. We're being challenged physically, emotionally, and spiritually. This is the time to really empower ourselves. And our animal companions, they're already there. They're way ahead of us on this evolutionary path. So they're like, come on, you can do it. Get up this hill with me. Let's do it. So yeah, we're so blessed. Even the challenges that we have with them, they are helping us to grow into who we really are. So it's important that we're saying gratitude and just say, okay, you're my little muse, you're my teacher. What are we learning today?
Well, I mean, you certainly have our gratitude too, because you taught us so much today. And yes, thank you. So Amy Martin, Conscious Companion. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, unless people are listening to this at night, in which case have a lovely evening or the morning. Good morning and hello.
Okay, take care. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Amy.
And now it's time for a segment that we like to call Digging It. And because we like to call it that, that's why we call it Digging It, because there's only two of us and we get to decide, right? I mean, it's perfect.
We do what we like.
We do what we like.
Just like the animals.
Yeah, just like the animals. If I could walk like the animals, talk like the animals. Isn't that a song?
It is.
Yeah,
the Jungle Book.
Oh, right, exactly. Okay, so Digging It, aside from obviously always digging the Jungle Book, great movie and great book. It was a book first, The Jungle Book.
Kipling.
Yes. Oh, Denise, you are pouring out the knowledge today.
I'm in fuego.
Denise, what are you currently digging?
So given that we had Amy Martin on the show today, I thought it would be perfect to talk about the fact that Nabisco has released the animals on their animal cracker box.
Oh, that's right.
They used to be enclosed, behind cages, and now they're roaming free on the savannah. So even those small shifts that permeate our culture, those are small ways to create new respect for animal companions.
Right. They should not be caged.
They should not be caged. And it's just one way Nabisco took the stance to say, yep, we agree with that. And of course, PETA was behind it. And, they did a lot of work to advocate on behalf of the animals. But how cool that this has been so well received by so many. This has gotten a lot of attention.
Yeah, it certainly has. Are animal crackers vegan?
I don't know. I'm a potato chip kind of girl. I don't eat sweets.
Well, those are vegan.
They better be.
Are animal crackers even sweet?
They are.
I can't tell you the last time I had an animal cracker.
Me neither, but you know the box, right?
I do.
It's so iconic.
Yeah, for sure. And now they're free on the box.
Free on the box.
And that brings us to the end of our Pet Prana podcast. I'm Alex Bloom.
And I'm Denise Mange. And until we meet again, happy training.